What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video I'm going to be tackling a couple more of the niggling faults that we have on this little Porsche Boxster that I've got. And today's fault that I'm going to be sorting out after I've already polished up the headlights and I've repaired the alignment of the roof is going to be this passenger window. It looks as though the window might have been off at some point. I was speaking to one of the local Porsche specialists and he did say the regulators inside the windows, they sometimes do fail on these, and when I was washing the car I did notice there was an extremely small little trickle of water that was coming in pretty much at this gap and running down the inside of the glass itself. And then when we're looking at it, it looks as though, I don't know how clearly the camera will make out, but the window itself, there's a bit of a gap here and it's running up, and that should be a hell of a lot tighter up against the rubber, and that's what's allowing the water in. Now it does look as though someone's been having a look at this in the past, because as you can see the door card is almost hanging off here already. And this is like it is when I bought it. I haven't done any of this, so it looks as though somebody's already been inside it, and that's probably why the window itself isn't fully lined up. So as you can see, there's this little gap that I can almost squeeze my finger into that runs up to where the water is running down at the join of the hood and the frame itself. So to try and rectify this, we're going to have to be getting inside the door frame. We'll be removing the door card itself, having a look at where the window is fully mounted inside the door itself, trying to make a little adjustment just to basically push the window across just a couple of millimeters so it is a little more in line with some of the rubbers there, just so when it does close it's going to be closing that gap up a lot more tightly. It's also a little bit too close on this side as well. According to the specialist guy, it should just be pushing up against this rubber, but again this is just because the glass alignment does look as though it's out a little bit. It just needs moving over just a couple of millimeters, and hopefully by the end of this video we'll have the glass fully realigned and we'll be able to wash the car and there won't be any water creeping in on the inside. Now I've been out and got some trim removal tools as well, just to make sure that I'm not going to be snapping any clips, although to be honest, as I say, the panel's already been off, so I don't know if there's already been somebody in there snapping clips or not, but I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be causing any more damage or anything like that. So if you're after any of these tools, check the link in the description below, and there'll be a link going out to eBay for the trim removal tools that I've got here. So first things first, as I say, we're going to be getting the interior door card off. There's a number of screws around the area. There's a couple of screws behind the handle itself, behind the trim, and a couple of other areas as well. I am having to rely on a YouTube video myself just to see exactly how this panel comes off, but we're going to get this off. I'm not going to do a how-to on how to remove the panel. If anything, I'll link the video that I'm using in the description, but hopefully soon enough we'll have this window fully realigned and stop the leaks. Right, so with the door card off, there is an outer skin that just has a couple of, again, Torx bolts that just need removing out. They're dotted all the way around it, and that then allows the inner skin to come loose, and that allows you full access to the mounting area for where the window goes in. Now I've just been in with a couple of Torxes and just undone the two bolts. There's one on either side for the window. Once they're loosened up, this is basically a clamp for the window, and it allows you to fully adjust it. And as you can maybe see just on some of the wear from the glass, I've moved it over a couple of millimeters there and tightened it back up. So now I'm going to just reverse the process, put it all back together, put the window fully up. I've already pulled it up because it's disconnected from the regulator, so it can be pulled up and pushed down. As you can see, it's a bit awkward with one hand, but it can be done. But as I say, I'm going to reverse the process now, put everything back together, put the window up, close the door, and see if that's resolved the issue. Hopefully it has. I'm not going to get everything fully tightened up though until I know that the window is fully right. But as I say, that is the adjustment made for the window alignment itself. So I'm going to get this outer skin mounted back on, get the regulator connected back up to the mechanism, give it a test dry and see what it looks like. Right, so just doing a test fit with the window. I haven't got the door card on properly, as you can see there, it's still half hanging off, but this is just a test fit to see if the window needs any more adjustment. And as we can see here, we've completely closed up the gap that was there before and now cannot get any finger at all. That's just pure glass. going in between the rubber on the outside and the glass itself, all the way around, so that has closed the gap up really nicely, and at the other end that's sitting against the rubber as it should be as well. So it looks as though just a little alignment, just pushing the window over just a couple of millimeters, has pretty much sorted out that little gap that was allowing water just to dribble in down that little line there. So it looks as though that's all good. So, and the window itself is opening and closing as it should. When you open and close the door, it lowers itself a couple of mil, and then when you close the door, it closes back up again as well. So as I say, it looks as though that's pretty much sorted for the passenger side. So let's get the door back open, get all the door card back in place, get it all finally secured up, make sure it's all right, and get it all back together and make sure that it is fully tight by giving it a good old wash down once it's all back in place. So let's get the door card back mounted up onto the inside of the door and get it all finally put back together. Right, so I've got the door panel now back in place, and that is the passenger door window completely realigned now, and as I say, there's no issues from the looks of it now. I say that is now completely closed the gap all the way around it, and as I say, I've got the door card in place, and if you just open the handle slightly, you see the window just drops down automatically, as most convertibles do, just to make sure that the window isn't getting caught in the frame itself. But as you can see, the door card's back on and in place now. Needs a bit of a wipe down, but other than that, it's all spot on. And then when we close the door, the window will pop back up into place and close that gap nicely. So as you see, that popped back up, and there's zero gap there at all whatsoever going round. So that's the passenger door all fully done now, and that wasn't long. That was probably about 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that, so not too bad. So I'm probably going to do the same on the driver's door now as well. The driver's door isn't anywhere near as bad as the passenger side was, but again, just in that corner you might be able to make out, again, there's a small little gap in between where the rubber for the mirror should be with the frame, and again, there shouldn't be any gaps there at all. And because the passenger side didn't take long, as I say, that was about 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. Not bad for the first time I've ever done the door card removal and the window realignment. So as I say, might as well do the driver's side now as well. Make sure that both windows are fully aligned properly and there isn't going to be any sort of water leaks or ingress at all. So I'm going to rinse and repeat, do the driver's door, and then once that's done and in place, we'll give it a wash and make sure that there's no more leaks. So let's get the driver's side done. Right, so that's the door card itself removed. Now I managed to do the other side without removing the central locking cable itself there. We just need to remove a couple of the electrical points themselves, and they're just clips in and out, and that gives enough free access to be able to get the door card out of the way to then get this inner skin off. And to get the inner skin off, again, it's just more Torx bolts going all the way around itself, and then we can get the skin off and make alignment adjustments to the window itself. So I'm just going to get these clips undone. I'll get that off camera because it's too awkward to do whilst holding the camera itself, but that'll free up the panel itself, and then we'll have a look at get this internal skin off, and that will expose the window itself to be able to make the adjustment for the alignment. So I'll get these clips undone and pick it back up when I'm ready to take the skin off. Right, so there's the driver's window fully realigned now as well, and as you can see we've totally removed that tiny little gap that was in between where the mirror surround touches the glass and the rubber frame on the outside near the windscreen. So that is now fully closed, fully unsealed, going all the way around now as well. The window is working fine, so if you just open the handle a little bit it drops down as it should before you open the door, and from, as I say, inside and out it fully seals back up again and it closes that gap completely. So the thing I've got left to do now is basically give the car a wash and to see if we're still getting any dribbles coming down or not. But hopefully, from the looks of it, that's both of the windows going to be fully realigned and hopefully going to be fully watertight now as well. So I'll go get a bucket and a sponge, give the car a quick wash because it's getting a bit dirty and grimy anyway, as you can see. So it needs a bit of a wash down anyway, and it's going to be the perfect chance to make sure that I've got this alignment right. Right, I've just finished giving the car a good wash. As you can see, it's still drying up. I'm still going through with the chamois just to make it all nice and dry, but there are absolutely zero leaks going through the window now, so I've got that completely sealed up compared to where before. As I say, there was a trickle going down the inside there, and now there is just nothing. It's just all on the outside as it should be. That's the same on the driver's side as well, but as I say, the driver's side wasn't anywhere near as bad as the passenger side. But again, all the water's on the outside, whereas before, again, there was the same place, there was a tiny little trickle coming in there, but there's nothing there now. So that's both of the windows fully realigned, just to be sure that there's not going to be any trickles of water coming through. And as I say, that's not a bad job really, not a bad job. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on one of the next episodes. Cheers.